Hey folks, under the circumstances of today's game, I didn't really want to go on here to do this, but I didn't feel that such a significant result could go past without me commenting on it. And like I said after the Villa game, welcome to the Premier League. The annoying thing is today is that obviously we've struggled to contain City, which every team in the world does. We've been too exposed against the good and boy in Villa side and paid the price. But today, in terms of an attacking force and like passing the ball and causing problems and linking up as a team, it's by far the best that we've played. It's just the problem has been horrendous naivety at the back, being carved through too easily. And in my opinion, given that Ralph Foster especially has appeared to be a man mountain in the first three games of the season, and not only getting his first touch right, winning so many headers, but he's also seemingly physically the better specimen and physically stronger at occupying one, if not two, defenders at the same time. So Burnley were time and time again trying to play through the thirds and build up from the back. Now, we all like, the idea of playing silky football and working patterns and things like that, but we were just inviting the pressure from Spurs. The defenders didn't look comfortable, and especially James Trafford was. How can I explain it in my best way? He was finding passes that were relatively accurate, but there was a sense that he was playing his pass and picking his pass for the sake of it rather than playing the passes that were actually on. So a number of occasions he played the ball to Sander Burge or sometimes Darrow Shea or sometimes just Cullen, and he completed the pass correctly, but he seemed to have no regard for the oncoming traffic and the pressure that the player receiving the ball was under. So my first point would be I think uh, James Stafford is an excellent goalkeeper. He would not have been at Manchester City from the age of 7-year-old if he was hopeless. He certainly wouldn't have been England's under-21 goalkeeper. He most definitely would not have had such a high valuable buyback clause from City if they didn't think he could amount to severe quality over his career. But you just have to wonder if a 20-year-old man uh, in such a disjointed defence can continue to play in a net right at this very moment in time, and such a struggling Premier League side that Saturday we are, it's difficult to tell that whether we would have conceded so many of these goals with Munich in the net because I don't know quite how drastic the difference is, but if I was to measure up, I would say perhaps Trafford is a wee bit more agile than Munich is when it comes to his ability to shot stop. But because we're not getting up the field and people are, the defenders were, again, unfortunately, either making mistakes and different, like, for example, somebody should have wiped Spurs played out for the first goal before it got let to Son. There was two opportunities for someone to get a foot in and concede a free kick to wipe out the danger after Eldaku's clanger, but just because we're under so much pressure, I feel that the more pinpoint accuracy of Miric's passing would have alleviated some of the pressure, and maybe we would have conceded less goals because sooner or later it's going to get to a point where we're going to be having to wonder, is James Stafford going to be like psychologically damaged and show shot at his young age for repeatedly picking the ball out of his net? It must not be doing the confidence of him or the defence any good. Secondly, Sander Berg, remarkable for Sheffield United, but even though he had some brilliant strong play that led to the winner for Amdoni at Forest the other night, he's a massive physical unit, a beast, very strong to look at, very tall, and yet he does not impose himself one little bit on the ball, and his touch is very laboured, and even when he often does have the ball under control, he differs on it and loses all momentum and possession far too often. I know new players take time to bed in, but I'm not. He's not what I was expecting in the least bit so far. And although it might be a step backwards to some people, the Forest game in 2 weeks' time after the international break, I'm not saying it's season defining or anything like that, because that just be overreaction and a bit pathetic at this stage. But as much for our confidence and looking at the table, and especially with United, Newcastle, and Chelsea coming our way in this next stretch, we must not lose. And I think Brownhill would offer a bit more. Well, the game was sort of already gone before he could do anything about it. But I do think just for solidity's sake, I would just, because there's a bit of a better nuance between the two, I reckon that Josh Cohen and Josh Brownhill should start in the centre of midfield for the Forest game and let Berg acclimatise himself from the bench. And then just before I go, I can't not comment on the situation with the fullbacks. Right, maybe it was very much out of Burnley's hands yesterday what happened with Ian Maatson. Maybe Matson's agent or something told Burnley one thing, and Ian Maatson told his agent George Goatsy another. But I can't understand for the life of me why Burnley would go to the trouble of compiling such a detailed and expensive bid for him without receiving a personal green light from Maatson that he actually wanted to come. Maybe we'll never know what happened there. And I can understand the style play, wanting dynamism, wanting a left back that can dribble, a left back that can go into midfield and do the modern thing of becoming an inverted midfielder and all that. Yeah, excellent. If you're in a luxury position to be, lucky enough to do that. But we only have, especially since we let Owen Dodson go out to Barnsley yesterday, which seems even more strange considering no left back came in. if Charlie Taylor is the only recognised left back that we have at the club, then he must play every game until he's unavailable through injury or suspension. He was a perfectly serviceable left back. He was quite fast, defensively minded, gets tackles in, prevents, doesn't like the wing across the ball at free will. And he has to play because he's the only option we've got. When we've spent so much money and when we have the aspirations that we do to, well, at this point, I'm staying up this season, but when we want to build forward as a club and a project, to be spending 120 million or so pounds, whatever it is, to be playing a right back, a left back, and a centre back who is a fantastic centre back in El Dakil, who has pace, but he was a rabbit in the headlights today when he was out of position. And the fact that Roberts was taken off at half time, it speaks volumes again. And then we see the Krill deployed out of position in a night, returning to his unfavoured position where he looked absolutely hamstrung and playing with one hand behind his back last week. The fallback situation, I'm afraid company, he must sort of swallow his pride and forgo some of his principles for the solidity of the team, if that makes sense. Because you can't afford to be unbalanced and blatantly so weak in the Premier League in a certain position of the pitch. Otherwise, as we saw today, it's going to become so clear, and the relentless nature of the opposition in the league won't let us off with it. It's not good, not where we wanted to be now. I'm on you. Sorry, good night, Mum. Sorry, my mum just telling me that she was going to bed. Yeah. Now, there are caveats to that. We play 3 teams who will probably be in the top 7 of it, or at least the top 8. We played the best team in the world, and Aston Villa have really got their act together, and Tottenham, who were a free-flowing attacking team, who were riding the crest of a wave of a new manager and have rebuilt themselves in a very quick time after they've lost Harry Kane. I think those of us of a realistic persuasion would not have been surprised if we would have maybe lost 2, and in an ideal world maybe won 1 or got a draw, or even if we would have lost all 3 games, but narrowly 1-0, 2-1, competed in the games. So, like if we were sat here in the position of Sheffield United fans at the moment, they've got the first point today. They've had 2 defeats. 3 defeats, but the games that they've lost, they've competed in. But unfortunately, we've been destroyed, and not much is seeming right at the moment. The only things you can hang your hat on is we jump to conclusions far too quickly in the Championship about Ralph Foster. Many, me included, wondered if we'd been somewhat done with that signing. Maybe we all jumped to the conclusion too quick. And then Coley also, well, words can't express how good and how talented he is at 18. Every time he gets on the ball, you're literally clenching your fist and on the edge of your seat, wondering what he's going to do next. It's mind blowing to watch someone with such a low centre of gravity but so small be able to sort of wriggle his way through and be so deceptive for the defenders. And once he learns to like fully have composure and make his decision making right more often than not, then he's going to be a severe talent. But all we can say is this 2 weeks that we've got at our disposal now, we have to rectify things. Company needs to think about the high line. He needs to think about how much goalkeeper distribution is going to be upset. The risk and reward thing of can should we let Trafford learn from the bench while we enjoy Murich's distribution more if we want to continue playing on the front foot, because I personally think that a goalkeeping change might really ease the pressure on Trafford as much as anything else. And I can't help but feel that there's no protection at all really offered by Cullen. So I wonder if Masengo, because I know that he's a tackling, competent midfielder who'll just sit and break play up. So maybe he might be the way forward, but there's many, many more questions and answers, and I hope the continuity. We spend these 2 weeks trying to find out on the training ground and whatever what our best 11 is, because I'm not worried. I think we will still, but I'm not. Imagine if we go to Nottingham and suffer another demoralising defeat where, we're torn apart by the pace of the Forest forwards and we still don't have anything on the board by mid-September. And then we're looking at games against United, Newcastle and Chelsea. It could get very scary very quickly. So I think the international break is very much come at the right time. And I want the players that are best for the team, for the individual game plan of each game to be the ones that start the matches in accordance to what is best and what is most likely to get us the result. I think there's a danger that we might think that because we've spent so much money, we have to deviate and play like the most expensive players so that we get our money's worth, even if the Brownhills, the Corks, the Taylors, and specifically the Murichs of the squad might be those that are better suited for us to get a foothold and get some points on the board in the short term, if that makes sense. Anyway, that'll be all from me for now. Up the Clarets and try to enjoy the rest of the weekend. And we must have some patience, but we're also entitled to admit that this is far from what we were expecting the season to be so far. So let's hope that we can give a much better account of ourselves when we go to Nottingham in 2 weeks. Bye bye for now, and I'll of course be back with a preview to talk about that game in a few days before that on the Thursday, and maybe I might do watch-alongs for the England games to pass the boredom in the next couple of weeks. Bye bye for now. Thank you for watching. Please take the time to like, share and subscribe to my channel if you would like to do so.